Yeah, welcome to Myths, Legends, Stories, and Tales with Lady Liadan. Today we're going to read the story for the tale of the Firebird. This is one of my favorites. It comes to us from Russia. It was written by Gennady Spirin and translated by Tatiana Popova. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, lived the great ruler Zaravich. He had 3 sons, and the youngest was named Ivan Zaravich. The Tsar's greatest pride was his garden, filled with exotic trees, and in the center of his garden was the prize of his kingdom, a tree with golden apples. One day, the Tsar's gardener came to report that someone had been stealing the fruits of the golden apple tree. Every night there were fewer apples left. Determined to catch the thief, the Tsar ordered his 3 sons to watch his precious garden through the night. The eldest son was in charge of the first night, but he fell asleep and came back to his father the next day with nothing to report. The second son tried to watch the garden on the second night, but he too fell asleep and saw nothing. On the third night, the youngest, Ivan Zaravich, was sent to the garden. He watched until midnight without falling asleep. Just as his eyes were about to close, a sudden flash of light illuminated the entire garden. A firebird! As soon as the firebird landed on the golden tree, Ivan Zaravich grabbed for its tail. That would stop him. But it didn't. The firebird flew away, leaving Ivan Zaravich with a single glowing feather in his hand. What a pretty bird. The Tsar was amazed when he saw the miraculous light of the firebird's feather. "I must have this firebird," he said. "Saddle your horses, my dear sons. Whichever of you can catch the firebird will have half my kingdom as a reward." So the 3 sons rode off, each going his own way. Whether it was a long way or a short way, we don't know. Ivan Zaravich rode to the edge of a primeval forest, where he met a big gray wolf. "You cannot get the firebird without me," Ivan Zaravich, the wolf, said. "Leave your horse here and saddle me instead. You spared my children in the Tsar's wolf hunt last year, so now I will be your servant and your guide." So Ivan Zaravich climbed on the wolf's back. The wolf made a great leap all the way up to the birds in the sky. They flew over the woods and mountains, over wide rivers so high that it took Ivan Zaravich's breath away. Whether their way was long or short, we don't know. But at last they arrived at the land of wondrous gardens and crystal palaces. "Go into the garden, Ivan Zaravich," said the wolf. "You will see a firebird in a golden cage hanging from a branch of a tree. Take the firebird, but do not touch the golden cage, for it will bring you bad luck." Ivan Zaravich entered the garden and saw the firebird in its golden cage. As he reached in, the gold was so beautiful that he could not keep himself from touching it. The moment he did, thousands of invisible bells began to ring, and an army of guards appeared from nowhere. They grabbed Ivan Zaravich and took him to their king, King Muhammad. Muhammad recognized the Tsar's young son. I would kill any other man who tried to do what you have just done. But your father is my friend. For his sake, I will forgive you. You may keep the Firebird. However, in exchange, you must go to the faraway land of King Karam, and bring me back a horse with a golden mane. So where do you think he went? Probably somewhere in the Middle East. Ivan Zaravich went back to his wolf and told him what King Muhammad said. Don't worry, Ivan Zaravich, said the gray wolf. I can help you find this horse. But I tell you, next time, do not disobey me. So Ivan Zaravich saddled the wolf again, and in 3 great leaps they reached the sky and were soaring above the clouds. They flew over high mountains, deep seas, and enormous green lands. Finally, they reached the kingdom of Karam, and the wolf gave Ivan Zaravich his instructions. Go into the king's garden, and you will see a horse grazing on the meadow. Take the horse by its golden mane and bring it here. Do not touch its harness, for it will bring you bad luck. Ivan Zaravich did everything as the wolf told him, but when he saw the harness, its golden beauty was so fascinating that he could not resist the temptation to touch it. As soon as he did, there was the sound of 1,000 bells, and at the same time, the guards appeared. They brought Ivan Zaravich to see King Karam. King Karam looked at Ivan Zaravich with menacing eyes. Who are you? Why do you want my horse? Ivan Zaravich told the king his story, holding back no secrets. King Karam said, I will give you this horse and his golden harness as a gift, but in return you must go to the kingdom beyond all other kingdoms, the kingdom of Koishi, the Immortal, and bring my sister, Yelena the Beautiful, back to me. Since her capture 3 years ago, my suffering has been endless. Many heroes have lost their heads at Koishi's field on her account. May God help you. Go. Ooh. Ivan Zaravich came back to his wolf in low spirits and told him what had passed. Don't despair, Ivan Zaravich. A man can die but once, said the wolf. Get ready to go on another journey. I know who can help us. So Ivan Zaravich saddled the gray wolf once again, and they rushed as fast as they could to the kingdom beyond all other kingdoms, the kingdom of the Koishi, the Immortal. They flew over dark woods and impassable swamps. Now we are coming to the place where no human has ever set foot, said the gray wolf. Baba Yaga, the wicked, dwells here. If you want to find Yelena the Beautiful, you must do everything Baba Yaga tells you. Ivan Zaravich turned and saw a cottage that spun around on chicken feet in the middle of a dark forest. It spun so fast that he could not see the door to enter. After consulting with the wolf, Ivan Zaravich stood before the cottage and shouted, little hut, show your front to me, and your back to the woods." Oh my goodness. The cottage immediately stopped spinning and settled down on its chicken feet with its door facing Ivan Zaravich. He was about to knock at the door when he heard a great thunderclap, and Baba Yaga the Wicked suddenly appeared. "Why have you come to visit me, Ivan Zaravich?" she cackled. "I think I know. I will help you if you are brave." Baba Yaga gave a shout, and from all corners of the forest, creatures came running, satyrs, monsters, and other beasts. Baba Yaga ordered them to build a fire and put on a huge cauldron of magical waters and herbs. When the witch's brew began to boil, she ordered Ivan Zaravich to take off all his clothes and bathe himself in the bubbling cauldron. Ivan Zaravich crossed himself and jumped in. What kinds of things do you think she threw in there? And then, a miracle. Instead of being boiled like a shrimp, Ivan Zaravich found himself in the cool water of a forest lake. In the middle of the lake was a little island, covered with sedge and moss, and deep in the moss was a glimmer of something shiny. He pushed the sedge away. It was a dazzling sword. As soon as Ivan Zaravich touched its hilt, a magical strength came to him. Ivan Zaravich stood up and found himself at the edge of the forest, still holding the magical sword. His faithful wolf was waiting for him, all ready with his clothes. "You did a good job this time, Ivan Zaravich," he said. Faster than the wind, they reached the sky, and in the blink of an eye, they were approaching the castle of the Koichi. The moment they touched the ground, they heard the sound of a horn and saw Koichi, the Immortal, riding up on his horse. "I am looking for the sister of King Karam," Ivan Zaravich said, with his sword resting before him. But Koichi gave a sinister laugh. "I can't fight a man without a horse. Are you not the son of the Tsar, yet so poor that you do not have a horse?" Ivan Zaravich did not know what to answer, but the gray wolf whispered, "Don't worry, I will help you." In a moment, the wolf had transformed himself into a warrior's horse so great and so strong that it cannot be described, either with words or a brush. Koichi the Immortal stopped laughing. Ivan Zaravich mounted the great warrior horse and drew his magical sword. The battle began. 10 times they drew their swords and charged at each other. But their strengths were evenly matched, and neither could win. Then, just as Ivan Zaravich was about to make another charge, he spotted Yelena the Beautiful. Her beauty gave him a jolt of power, and his strength was suddenly doubled. Ivan Zaravich attacked Koichi once more with his magical sword and struck him with a final deadly blow. That was the end of the evil Koichi, for evil cannot be immortal. Only love can be immortal. Yelena the Beautiful and Ivan Zaravich fell in love at first sight. Yelena the Beautiful made a wreath of field flowers and crowned Ivan Zaravich. Then they saddled the mighty warrior horse, and in less than a minute they had arrived at the kingdom of Karam. Karam ran out of his palace to meet them. Tears streamed from his eyes at the sight of his beloved sister. He embraced her and Ivan Zaravich together, saying, "I bless your love, my dear children. I am giving my kingdom to you, Ivan Zaravich, and I want you to be its ruler when I am old." Ivan Zaravich thanked Karam for his generous gifts and went off to fulfill the rest of his promises. He saddled the horse with the golden mane for Yelena and mounted his warrior horse beside her. There they are. Together they rode to the kingdom of Muhammad. King Muhammad and all his glorious court were overjoyed to see Ivan Zaravich again, and amazed with the beauty of Yelena. The king was so taken with her that he gave her the golden-maned horse. He congratulated Ivan Zaravich on his great happiness and gave him the gift he had promised, the Firebird in its golden cage. Now there they are. When Ivan Zaravich and Yelena the Beautiful returned to the king's stables, they found that the warrior horse had transformed itself back into a gray wolf once again. Here my help ends, Ivan Zaravich. Be happy. Ivan Zaravich thanked him, and the wolf vanished into the dark woods. Tsar Vasily was very happy to see his beloved son with Yelena the Beautiful and all the kingly gifts they had been given. The wedding was declared, and the Tsar gave a feast for everyone in the kingdom, brightened by the light of the Firebird. For many, many years afterwards, the people in that part of the world still talked of the wedding feast of the Tsar's youngest son and of the magical power and beauty of the Firebird. Firebird is very pretty. And look at those horses. The end. There's actually a ballet called The Firebird based on this story. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next time.